Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Thickies TV. We've got Maki, the rookie, taking on the undefeated former champion of the league, Swaggy Boy. I've got Judgy here in the booth with me tonight, and we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah, we see Tinkaton Swampert League here. Both mounts have Stealth Rush, but we're not going to see any go up the first turn.
Yeah, that knockoff there, chipping away at the Vaporeon and does eliminate the Rocky helmet. And of course, Swampert going to be able to heal that off with the leftovers and get rocks up. This is excellent position for Swaggy Boy early.
We see Terrapagos come out quite early, looking to get some damage off on this Vaporeon.
Yeah, Vaporeon could be a real thorn in the side of Swaggy Boy, having access to Haze especially.
That burn on the Terrapagos is going to be doing a lot, nullifying the leftovers.
Yeah, not going to be able to get that ability active again this game.
The bulky Tinkaton is going to be able to tank that Terra Starstorm and the following Earth Power, even though it is super effective.
Yeah, very bulky, not really caring about anything Terrapagos can throw at it. Now the rocks are gone on Swaggy's side of the field, and he is just in great position here early.
Yeah, looking to set up this Latios with the Calm Mind. Not much that this Vaporeon can do to it at this current moment in time.
Yeah, it does call out the Tinkaton switch in there, but between the Akaberry and the Wish, it's really not going to make much of a difference.
At that health point, it should be able to tank a critical hit Terra Blast too. This Thunder Wave coming in and gonna nullify that Latios.
And you gotta wonder what's behind the decision to sort of trade with this Tinkaton here when you do still have a fully healthy Swampert waiting.
Here comes Spectre, gonna look to Shadow Ball, which Swaggy Boy does call out.
Yeah, Terrapagos, an easy switch in there. Doesn't really care about much of what Spectrier can throw at it.
Just gonna get a Rapid Spin off here, getting one of those rocks eventually.
Yeah, but does opt to take out the Vaporeon here, eliminating one of the bigger obstacles in front of Swaggy's team. But this here's a bit of a disastrous turn. The Spectrier gets past a sub from the Cyclizar. On a rapid spin incoming from the Terrapagos, was able to set up a Calm Mind very freely here.
You gotta wonder if Nasty Plot's the better move to have here in this matchup. Not gonna be quite doing enough to that Swampert without it.
Yeah, that Swampert able to take two of those +1 Shadow Balls. Curious how much special attack investment is on the Spectrier.
Unfortunately, the Will-O-Wisp miss does mean that this will not be able to take out the Swampert.
Did get Swampert quite low in the process, however, and with a Raging Bolt waiting in the wings, that may be enough.
Yeah, especially with that Latios being paralyzed, it's going to be getting outsped by the Raging Bull and not going to take a Dragon Pulse.
Yeah, once again, that decision to trade Latios with the Tinkaton may have some bad ramifications here late.
Cinderace being sacked for a free, switching to Raging Bolt.
Raging Bolt, so incredibly bulky, really unthreatened by this unboosted Zamazenta.
Yeah, with that special attack boost, it should be able to beat the Zamazenta in a 1v1.
Yeah, I was able to clear it out quite easily there.
In this situation, if Latios wasn't paralyzed, that would be it for Raging Bolt here.
Yeah, unfortunately also, terastallizing to the fire type does now make you neutral to that Thunderclap, so likely finished either way at that point.
Yeah, Crocodile not going to be able to do much here, especially with the Eviolite getting knocked off.
Yeah, it just doesn't do enough damage at this point.
The Rapid Spin allows Raging Bolt to come in one more time at that 2 HP point.
Yeah, big spin there, sub passed, and Raging Bolt's going to clean it up. Maki takes game 1, snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. Both coaches opting to make some changes here. Froslass going to see the field here in game 2 for Swaggy Boy, and Thwacky enters the fray from Maki's side. You know, that one turn in game 1 where the Spectrier got in pretty freely really sealed the deal, doing enough damage to that Swampert to where Raging Bolt was able to clean up. But with that being said, we're going to jump straight into game 2 and see how these changes impact the game.
We see a Tinkaton coming out again with the lead, and it's also going to get forced out just like in game 1.
Yeah, now this Zamazenta reveals Substitute here again, and Vaporeon may have trouble breaking this depending on the investment of the Zamazenta, but not quite that bulky. It is a Howl set. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't really want to be in here on this Vaporeon with that Skull. The burn would be detrimental, especially with that Haze. Not much it's going to be able to do here.
Vaporeon will have to soak a +1 close combat here, and that may be enough. But unfortunately, that burn does hurt Zamazenta, and Vaporeon will live to see another day and possibly heal up later on and use that haze to threaten out the Latios and the Terrapagos.
That low damage on the close combat does indicate an Eviolite set on this Thwackey here.
Yeah, even burned, it does have the +1 attack, and that Thwackey not bulky without that Eviolite, so safe to say that's the item of choice there.
We do see Froslass make his debut here and get a nice little Poltergeist on this Tinkaton, doing a little less than half there.
Yeah, that Poltergeist doing big damage. Froslass, a very underrated attacker on the physical side, has access to Poltergeist now. That's a very powerful attack.
Maki opting to save the 2 HP Tinkaton, and then this Vaporeon not going to tank that Poltergeist too well either.
Yeah, not a great look there. Then Thwackey comes in, and Froslass really not terribly concerned with this.
Yeah, triple axle gets to pumping.
Yeah, and this Froslass has come in and immediately applied a ton of pressure against Maki's team.
That knockoff is going to do a little more than half, not quite what Maki needs here.
Yeah, and that aggressive Zamazenta play may pay off. Despite the burn, the Vaporeon is off the field, the Tinkaton is gone as well. And Swaggy Boy is in a pretty good spot here, game 2.
Froslass picking up 2 kills on his debut game.
Yeah, and you wonder if Maki's tuned in to just how badly Swaggy Boy wants that Vaporeon out of the way. Hasn't played too conservatively with Vaporeon in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, Grass turn really going to help Terrapagos here. Without that burn to nullify the leftovers here, it's going to get back up to that Terra Shell.
Yeah, and then when Terrapagos was able to find a boost in this series, it was pretty much good night. Not a lot of answers on the side of Maki for this boosted Terrapagos.
Yeah, Maki possibly not expecting that Starstorm to do as much as it did. Calm Mind's on it, not going to be doing anything with it.
Yeah, and that's just a little more patient play with the Pagos from Swaggy Boy. And at this point, looks like Terrapagos is going to run away with this.
Yeah, only 2 Mons left. Not going to be doing enough to this Terrapagos here.
Yeah, it's a big body. The grassy terrain only helping it.
Rapid Spin getting rid of that Leech Seed. That's all that Swaggy Boy needs at this point.
And that is the game. Swaggy takes game 2 pretty convincingly, 5-0 here. Cinderace does make its way back onto the field for Maki, going to replace Thwackey, who was more of a hindrance than anything that last game. We're going to jump right into game 3 now.
This time, Cinderace comes out as the lead. Still not going to be able to do much to that Swampert. But with that Trailblaze, it is going to be doing a lot.
Yeah, that's bad news after already dropping game 1 to Raging Bolt to have Swampert take such a powerful hit this early on. Trailblaze not something seen terribly often on Cinderace, but does have access to it, and with the Libero stab coverage, Swampert nearly goes down.
Cinderace not going to be doing a lot to Zamazenta. Here comes in Vaporeon, looking to do the same thing that they did in game 2.
Yeah, and the problem is Vaporeon once again finds itself under heavy pressure early, and that substitute there is brutal. Hate to see Maki lose Vaporeon early on every single game, but this Zamazenta is very threatening to the rest of this roster, especially with that boosted attack stat now.
Yeah, in the prep, Maki probably thought Vaporeon was going to be a better counter to Zamazenta than it ended up actually being.
Yeah, Zamazenta was able to overwhelm it in part thanks to that substitute.
That crunch going to take out that low defense Spectrier.
Yeah, Raging Bolt, very strong. And it's going to Terrastalize in the face of Froslass, but not able to finish it off, even with the booster energy Dragon Pulse.
Froslass continuing its amazing streak from last game, getting the cursed body off on this Raging Bolt.
Yeah, able to get up a layer of spikes on the Thunderclap.
Getting this Raging Bolt very low here on the Calm Mind.
Yeah, and just a perfect sequence there from Swaggy Boy, really getting a lot of value out of Froslass here tonight.
Raging Bolt has been forced out, and it's so low, it's just going to die to hazards at this point.
Yeah, interesting to note that we didn't see court change from the Cinderace at all in this series.
Yeah, instead opting for this U-turn to pop this weakness policy seen in game 1.
Yeah, we see a Play Rough come out as opposed to a Thunder Wave there from the Tinkaton, and I'm wondering if Maki was expecting a substitute adaptation on the Latios too, as Lester Purge's coverage somewhat redundant here.
Yeah, and with these hazards up, it's gonna be good night Maki.
Yeah, great series here from two very, very strong coaches. Swaggy Boy does come out on top. Be very excited to see if these two match up again in the playoffs.
Indeed.
But that's all we've got for you tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in. And
the Thick East Pokemon League, where the best and the bold, only beauty can compete, only legends are told. Flashing lights and roaring crowd, in the ring they take their stance.